find your flow, follow the map. Mile High Dreaming's got your back. Denver skies, trails.
Good morning, everyone. Couple of polls up here. Okay, I only have this slide. Okay, perfect. How easy is it for you to say no? Scale of 1 to 10. 10? 11? 0. Okay. Well, we've got quite the difference there. Sometimes it's easier, sometimes it's harder, depends on the situation, right? How about, what's your biggest obstacle to saying no? What gets in your way? Leadership, expectations. Stress? Is that what I heard? Okay. People pleasers. Okay, yes. Inexperience. Yeah, it's a muscle that you got to practice just like anything else. How about, do you think sorry? Not knowing that you can't do it? How about, do you think it negatively impacts your reputation when you say no? Yeah. Can. Depends on how you do it, right? There's all what you say and there's how you say it too. And we're going to talk a little bit about that as well. How much does it bother you when other people say no to you? Scale of 1 to 10. It depends who it is, what it's about, how much you trust them. Yeah, so there's a lot of factors. Anyway, that's why we're here today, is to talk about mastering the art of saying no, a framework for Salesforce professionals. And of course, you can use it in your personal life too. It's just what you say is going to be a little bit different. My name is Terri Sinclair. Thank you, Emily. I am a change management consultant in the Salesforce ecosystem. So I have been helping companies adopt Salesforce for a very long time, since the classic days. So I don't want to give away my age, just say that it's been over 10 years that I've been working in this ecosystem and absolutely love it. And it's my first time at Mile High Dreaming, and I love this community. So thank you, everybody, for being so wonderful. Yep, you guys do deserve a round of applause. In order to say no successfully, we have to look, whoops, I almost forgot the most important part, all the sponsors. Thank you, everybody, because you make this possible, make it available for speakers like me to come and share this with you all. Oh yeah, this is my slide. If you want to connect with me on LinkedIn, that would be great. I'd love to talk to you about change management too. At the end, I'm going to have a QR code for the Trailblazer community group. It's a virtual group, change management. I'm one of the co-leaders and founded it this year. So I'd love to have anybody in that conversation. We have lots of sessions about training, enablement, adoption. So I'd love to have you in that as well. Have that at the end for you. Here we go. Here are the 3 keys that we have to master. First is awareness. Second is a framework, which you're going to get today. And then third is mastery. It's just like we said, it's a muscle, you got to practice it. So by the end of this session, the goal is that you will have the framework, the tools, and a little bit of practice to take back with you and continue to hone this skill for yourselves. So let's get started. First, we start with awareness. A lot of people don't think about saying no this way. And it's really the 2 sides of the same coin. Because when you say no, like let's just say you said no to something in order to be here at Mile High Dreamin', right? It's not like you're doing nothing. So whatever you say no to, you're also saying yes to something else. Have you thought about it that way? It's important to think about it that way. You're not a bad person for saying no to something because you're saying yes to something that's more important to you. Once you have that awareness, you can use these questions to ask yourself, what do I stand to lose and what do I stand to gain, in order to get what are the priorities for you in that given circumstance. Anybody thinking of an example in their head? Is this like, share if you have something that's coming up for you. Yeah, go for it. You said no to an end-to-end demo that somebody else can handle to say yes to being in a Mile High Dreamin', which is only right now, and if you miss it, you miss it. And there's probably a recording of the end-to-end demo, right? Anybody else, is this coming up resonating for you? What do I stand to lose? What do I stand to gain? So you were saying no to a solution so you could say yes to the process of getting what they needed, understanding their requirements and getting what they needed. Yeah, so once you have your awareness and your understanding that you're really saying yes to something else that is likely a higher priority, then we can move into number 2, which is the framework. So act. You're going to acknowledge the request that you're saying no to. You're going to clarify. Sometimes this means circumstances. Sometimes there are policies. We all know the example when we've bought something and we take it back to the store and the store says, our policy is you only return it in 30 days or whatever that is, right? So that's an example of clarify. We're going to give you some other examples as well. And then transform. So then we're focusing on what we can do versus what we can't do. So we're transforming our no, transforming that request into what is the next step. Similar to Emily's example. So we're saying, we understand you have this solution, and without understanding requirements, solutions are likely to fail. So what we want to work on right now is understanding what your requirements are so we can have the best solution to meet those. Right? And I never said no in that. That's another little secret, by the way. Even though the session is titled Mastering the Art of Saying No, I'm advocating that you actually aren't ever going to use that word. Because people don't like it, and they put a wall up to it. So all of my examples, something else for you to practice is eliminating that no or that not from your vocabulary, because you're going to come across as way more agreeable. Questions, comments right now on the framework? I'm going to move into some examples if we're ready. Okay? So here are some examples, Salesforce examples for the act. So I understand why the business wants blah, 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 blah. The effort to customize this would be blah, 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 blah. What's the best way to level set with the business? How do we manage those expectations? Or it sounds like different departments are conflicted on the final requirement. You guys have been there, right? In the meeting where IT wants one thing, the business wants another thing, marketing wants one, right? Different businesses want other things, right? And then you're sitting there going, I don't know what the requirement is because it sounds like there's 5 different ones or however many. So let's clarify this, right? I'm going to give you some information from my experience because I'm the expert here. Risk happens when alignment is lacking. So when your departments, when the SMEs want different things, alignment isn't there, that's when we have a lot of risk in our solution. So what about doing, this should have been a V, I need to fix my slide, a POV, the point of view, right? So each option is clear. Why don't we do a test, basically, so we can understand what it is the business wants. Or all these SMEs have good ideas, right? Let's do this, let's do that, let's do this, let's do that. And then MVP and the scope keeps getting bigger and bigger, right? These ideas right now are beyond our SOW. Are we expanding the SOW? Or are we getting suggestions so that we can stay within the SOW, create an MVP, and then go from there? Questions, comments about any of these examples? I welcome challenges. My favorite thing on doing these sessions is when you all tell me, nope, Terry, that will never work for me. So anybody thinking something like that? No. Okay. Fantastic. You pass, you get a badge. Now, we need this session on Trailhead, right? So we can have a badge for it. All right. So once you understand your awareness, you've got your framework, we got to practice because that's how you get mastery. Find a person, it looks like you know, if there's an odd number at your table, look to another table to see if there's somebody that's sitting by themselves. But with a partner, I'm going to give you 5 minutes each. Tell your partner a little bit about the requests that you want them to ask you. So just say, hey, ask me this so I can practice using this framework, right? You don't have to give them a long backstory, just tell them what the request would be. This could either be something that you really are looking at saying no to right now. This is something maybe in your brain that you haven't addressed yet. Or it could be something that you didn't say no to in the past and you want to do a better job of it because you know it's going to come up again. So whatever you're practicing is on you. You get to choose. So 5 minutes each. This gives you time to talk it through, think it through, and then I'll tell you time so you can switch. Good? All right, go. How was that? Feedback, thoughts? Anyone want to share?
It was good.
Feel good? Empowering?
Exactly.
Okay, what else? Anyone have a little struggle? Yeah?
It's interesting that even though we work like completely differently as far as like what we actually do, that the problem is still kind of the same and that the answer is still kind of the same.
Yeah, like I know, kind of similar to how clients always say, we're so unique, right? And then it's pretty much, nothing new under the sun kind of a thing. Yeah, so that's an interesting observation. What else?
Prioritization is a really good way to say no.
Yeah. Really understanding that, that's why I say your awareness, really understanding what your priorities are. Super key to being effective at this. Great. Yeah.
Throwing the ball back at the board. What are the requirements? What's the minimum viable product? What's the problem we're trying to solve?
Yeah. Yeah, like this isn't all on you, right? Yeah, you're the facilitator. Exactly. And everybody wants the same thing. Everybody wants the best solution for the client, right? Or whatever the situation is. In personal, we all want the best choices for ourselves and our friends or our family. Right? So we're all out for the same goal. Okay. Remember I said that we were going to avoid saying no? There are a few other words and phrases that I want to introduce you to that I also would like you to start avoiding in your life. They're poison phrases, and I've got why they're poison. So the word, unfortunately. I mean, really, when you say that, aren't you just saying sucks to be you? And so when you say it, it's like it just sets the other person up like, hey, this is bad for you. So why? I mean, no is, it's like, it's neutral. What we're doing here is neutral. There isn't a bad or a good. So by avoiding, unfortunately, then you really are keeping it neutral. When you use unfortunately, you're telling the other person this is bad. So 86 it from your vocabulary. But and however. So but, and then there's but's cousin, the dressed up but, right? That's however. Lives in the fancy zip code. What's the fancy zip code of Denver? 80246. Okay. So, you think of 90210. Again, I'm aging myself. And you think about, like, what's that fancy? That's however. We want to avoid using those, and instead, we want to replace it with and. They're conjunctions. Remember conjunction, junction? What's your function? Right? But, however, and, they're all the same. If you feel the need to connect two sentences, use and, because but, it stands for behold the underlying truth. And it's basically like you're saying, I hear what you're saying, but I'm right. I got the real answer. I know more than you. And if you change that around to, I understand what you're saying, and what about this? Or a concern I have is, or we've seen risks with this in the past. Right? So then you're allowing the other person to have their opinion while you have your opinion at the same time. That's and. I can't. It just hurts your reputation. You become known as an I can't. And that's part of why I had the poll question at the beginning, because I think it's not saying no that hurts your reputation. People actually respect people that stand up for their priorities and their values. What hurts your reputation is saying I can't, because then it looks like you're not willing to work with people. So focus on what you can do. I can't meet you at 8. I can meet you at 9. Okay, why don't you just say I can meet you at 9? Totally transforms how you sound and how you come across. Try. I mean, all you Trekkies, right? Not Trekkies, Star Wars, right? Do or do not. There is no try. Try come on, when people say try to you, don't you just think it's not going to happen? Yeah. So let's get rid of it. Let's give dates, let's give times, let's give ranges. By the end of the day, by the end of the month, by the end of the quarter, whatever applies. It doesn't have to be set in stone if you don't know. Or it could be, I'll be getting it to you as soon as so-and-so gets me their piece, right? So as soon as I have this, then I'll be able to work on that. I estimate it'll be this long. that kind of a thing. And then later, because we all know that never happens. Lots of things we want to do later. So give people, that's the date and time range. Sorry, with try, I will do this, I will attempt to do this, we're gonna test that. Sorry, my laters and my tries got mixed. Questions, comments? Again, welcoming the resistance, bring it on. Oh good, we got a lot of resistance. Yes, and then I'll come over here.
What if you are definitely not going to implement the tool and you know it's going to just cause issues, like it's not happening and that other person isn't listening to your no?
You're for sure, oh good. The repeat no question, I was waiting for somebody to ask this. What's your name? Nova? Beautiful. So you know you're not going to implement it and they keep saying they want you to implement it. So you're doing your act. Let me go back. Right, so you're doing I understand you want this tool, you've heard things about it, and here are all the risks. So you're better to use X or you're better to do this workaround or something like that. Is that kind of what you're saying to them?
Yes, or maybe there's not a workaround.
So how will they get their requirement met that they think is going to be met by that tool? This is the wording I need to play this game.
I guess maybe it's something
like changing a window that's native to Salesforce that we're not going to change.
Okay.
This is my scenario. So like we have an end user that is consistently coming asking us to like change the size of text in a Salesforce native like lead conversion window.
Yeah.
And it's not a problem for anyone but them.
Got
It's a training issue. We've said no many times and it keeps coming up.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. You do have to, so the whole thing is, the answer to this question is you've got to say no multiple times. And the reason that we have to say no multiple times is because it's how we learned as a child. Mom, can I have this? No. But I really, 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 really want it? No. But Mom! Okay. So essentially we all get trained that if you ask enough times, it doesn't matter the no, you'll finally get it. Or, you know, these are the people that today go around you and like go to your supervisor, right? But mom says no, and then you go ask dad, and then dad gives it to you, right? So then they ask you, Emily, you say no, then they go ask Nova because they think she's gonna say yes, and then they go, I don't know your name, but I'm just making it up. They go ask Bill because those, right? So it all just depends on how you were raised, whether mom gave in or dad gave in or somebody, right? And now those people bring that to their work life, right? Or their adult life. So you all have to get aligned, you all have to stay on the same page. And for a situation like that where it's something native and no other users want it, it's gonna sound something like, I understand that this window is causing you issues and we've got this training that you can take to help navigate that. Bottom line, the configuration is the way that leaders want it to be. But I really, really need it and this is really a problem for me. I understand, so you can shortcut the second one. I understand it's really a problem for you. And by the way, I also wanna acknowledge that I'm, as much as possible, using the words that the requester uses when you do the acknowledged piece of the framework. So the more that you can say what they've actually said, the more they feel heard. So I understand this is a problem for you, and that's why we have the training. When can I get you into the training? How can I help you get signed up for the training? I'm not interested in the training. I want you to change this window. I got it that you want the window to be changed. I'm sorry that you're not interested in the training, and that is the best solution that we have for you. But, and whatever, they gotta keep going, you gotta stay strong. You gotta be the parent that stays strong because eventually they're either gonna leave or they're gonna say, so what you're telling me is I can't get it changed. Correct. Yes. And I know that it hurts inside because you feel like you're not giving somebody something and it's an end user and you want to give them everything that you can and you feel like you're not serving them. That's when you got to go back to the awareness piece. Because what do I stand to lose? What do I stand to gain? Reconfiguring that window is going to be however many hours of configuration, and there's like a boatload of other things that need to get done. Right? If people start to ask why, you can explain. But it sounds to me like this scenario, the person isn't really caring about why, they just want what they want. But that's the clarify piece. You know, I understand you want this window changed. That's 12 hours of configuration this, that, and the other thing when we have all these other projects that are a priority for leaders? Does that help? Okay, cool. What was your example?
That kind of helps answer it. My problem is that upper management needs a reality check on how many hours things take.
Don't they always?
I've got 4,000 hours worth of projects and there's a little old me. So,
Yep.
you know, I literally put the list of things with all the level of efforts next to them and say, okay, I'd love to do that. Which priority would you like me to drop?
That's exactly how you should handle it.
I constantly get met with, well, then when? I really can't come up with a good estimate. Like, those are rough levels of that magnitude.
Right.
So, I don't know, 2027? Like, and then
Yeah.
literally, because that's the level of, like, how many projects we have out there.
Yeah.
Of, you know, and then how that really drives down the trust of what my actual estimates are. Because I'm realistic knowing that that's probably going to be the timeline.
Who can you get better estimates from? Can you use the community to get better estimates? If you guys are you hearing what she's asking about? The size, okay, so you've got all this work to do. She is doing the right thing by saying, leadership, you know, what do you want me to prioritize? Trouble is, you know, when you're doing things new for the first time, you don't always know what the estimate is, right? So you're giving it your best guess. That's where maybe the community can come into play.
Yes and no. I was a consultant for 6 years. I've been in the Salesforce room for 15.
Yeah.
I'm actually very accurate, typically. Like, they go, oh, wow, you're within like a few hours. Once it's all said and done.
Yes.
But they never really let me get to that point.
Then do the clarify, right? So, you know, I get that you're asking when. As you've said to me in the past, my estimates are really accurate. So my best guess is XYZ. Then I would turn around and say, when can we hire a junior admin? When can we get this? When can we get that? You know, it feels like you're in a hurry for this. When can we bring somebody in to help? Yeah. Anybody else? You got one?
Yeah, I do actually.
Awesome.
I'm having a problem because it feels like we have 4 different segments that everything's a priority, and managing up from being in a lower tier, like an executive kind of role, is really challenging. And you bring them back, but their priorities change, and so then we have to pivot and skew a lot.
Sure.
And so you get a lot of like not finished things, right? There's a lot of wasted hours. So I'm wondering, is there a way to, without being combative or coming off as combative, to manage my supervisor in a way that's like, hey, can we stop doing this? Like, can you start to implement a no better?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you have to, so she's asking, did y'all hear? Okay, so she's asking, hey, I am saying no, you know, or doing the thing, but it's more a question of managing up because the leader is changing directions from above her leader. So they're pivoting, and then he has to pivot, and then she has to pivot, right? So it's all rolling down. Managing up means helping that person that's above you understand the questions they need to ask of the people above them. So understanding what are you know, a lot of companies do sort of an annual or sometimes quarterly, semi-annual, hey, what are our priorities for this year? And the project I'm working on right now, that's, you know, I've got that. Then when they shift away from those things, I can always say, well, these were what you had. Now it looks like we're moving over to here. What can we do in the future to ask those kinds of questions? It's that building that muscle of being proactive. Yeah. But it sounds like your manager is sort of waiting to be told. And that's a hard one to get people out of, to learn that skill of, instead of waiting to be told, to taking initiative. So, you know, come see me afterward. That's a bigger box to unpack. Oh, she's got an idea. Share it.
Nice, thanks.
So I have a project board. I have all the projects lined out. And so when we come to pivot like that, I'm like, okay, here's what's on my task list. If you want me to pivot, these will drop. And then I leave it in their court.
Yeah. Good. Any questions about the poison words or phrases? Any disagreements? Any challengers? It's challenging to remove but from your vocabulary. I have worked many years to do this, and it still creeps in every now and again. I promise you, though, people will think of you as way more agreeable, way more likable, and it will improve your reputation. So it is worth the work to remove those from your vocabulary. But what?
I said I'll try, but.
I'll work on it later. I'll try to work on it later. Yeah, okay. However, I get it. Ha ha ha. All right, so at the beginning, we talked about all of the reasons that we know we want to say no, because we know there are things that we shouldn't be saying yes to. And we looked at our framework, right? Our acknowledge, clarify, and transform. We looked at the words we want to avoid that are going to help us to come across as more agreeable. You've got your tools. You've had some practice. What questions do you have? Anything else we didn't cover that fits into here? Yeah, Emily.
It's a different kind of no.
Okay.
More like they're checking up with you. Has this been done yet? You didn't promise, you're not missing a deadline. But you have to say, no, you didn't. It's a different kind of no.
Who you're being checked on, or you're checking on someone? You're being checked on?
They're like, hey, has this been done? It hasn't, right? You've got other priorities, stuff like that.
Yeah.
The answer is no.
Okay, yeah. That's still incomplete. If with a little thought, you can eliminate every no, not, can't, won't, don't, aren't, isn't. I mean, you can eliminate it completely with a little bit of forethought. So that's still incomplete. Is that now a priority? Do we need to shift things around? Really, that's the question. Or that's still waiting to be done? Whatever, that's still incomplete, that's still on the project board, that's waiting to be done. You know, but always think about what's the next question. Like, that's the proactive part. It's not that I'm just saying, hey, it's not done. It's you're saying, does it need to be? Do we need to shift it? Is there a new priority? Why are you asking? Did something pivot? You know, to your point, right? Yes, so I get what you're saying. And by the way, you can say no. No is a complete sentence. It's just in certain circumstances, if you want to be protecting that reputation more, see more as a team player, see more as a go-getter, that kind of thing. What else? Yeah.
I think it's like the people pleaser part of me.
Yeah.
But I think I'm struggling with the unfortunately because, like, I totally get, you know, I can acknowledge, you know, that kind of, like, acknowledge first. And, you know, I'm not trying to apologize that I didn't get something done yet, but I still want to appear, I am empathetic at the same time. So I don't want to say unfortunately, I don't want to say sorry. I was just wondering if you had, like, other phrases.
You could simply say that.
You just take it out entirely.
You could take it out entirely. And you could say, I'm empathetic that you want this done. I mean, you know, huh?
You could just say that.
Yeah, you could just say that. Yeah.
And another like phrase is, in my experience, ...
In my experience, ...
That's a very difficult task. The time taken, you probably want to, like you said, SOW, POV, try to take it to the next level of, we need to do more analysis.
Yeah.
You can say no or yes or maybe yes.
Sure. Did anybody ever learn the feel, felt, found method? It's similar to the, nobody in here? Yeah, okay. You know, others feel that, you know, I get that you feel, it's similar to the act. I get that you feel, others have felt, what we found, which is the in my experience, right? So there's lots of ways you can package it. Just keep it as simple and keeping it authentic for you. Want you to just be you. That's going to be the easiest thing. What else? Looking at my time. Good. Well, I thank you. This is the change management group. So if you want to learn more sessions about training, change, adoption, enablement, I welcome you all. Love to connect with anybody. Come send me anything. If you want the deck, I'm happy to send it to you. Connect with me on LinkedIn and I can send it over however it's easiest. And thanks everybody for being here. Thanks for participating.
Flow,